Welcome to Fundamentals of PHP. My name is Julio Quevedo and I will be your instructor. So the first question to ask is, why PHP? PHP has been around for about 25 years, so why learn it and not the flavor of the month? Well, the answer is that about 80% of websites out there are powered by PHP, which makes it a very important language to learn for developers. Some of the most popular websites like Yahoo, Flickr, Facebook, Wikipedia, WordPress, these are all powered by PHP. In this course, you're going to learn about the basic syntax of PHP. You're going to learn about data types, variables, expressions. You're going to learn about functions and arrays, control structures. And we're also going to learn about file input-output and forms. Also in this course, you're going to learn how to set up a server to run PHP in MySQL, which we will touch briefly. By the end of this course, you will be able to write fun and exciting PHP programs confidently. Let's dive right in. PHP is different from other programming languages in the fact that PHP needs a server in order to run. I already have an Apache server installed on my computer, so the first thing I will do is write a simple PHP script and launch it in the browser, and then I will show you how to set up a server on your machine. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this is going to look like a simple HTML file. HTML tags, we're going to do head. We're going to title our page Hello World from PHP. We're going to create a body just like we would do in HTML. And this is when it becomes interesting. This is an opening PHP tag. And this is the closing PHP tag. Everything in between these two tags will be handled by the server. So we're going to write a couple of echo statements, of which you're going to learn. An echo statement can create HTML dynamically like we will do here. See how we are writing this H1 tags inside double quotes. Those will be handled by the server. Let's now create an H2 tag. Close the tag. Now, once again, this is all inside double quotes. That means they belong to the echo statement. Let's create a P tag. And finally, one last echo statement with no HTML. Let's save the file. And now we're going to take a look at our browser and see how this looks. Now, what do you think? It can't get any easier than that. Like I said, this looks like a regular HTML file, but in fact it has a PHP extension. If you can see, this is the name of the file right here. Now without this extension, the interpreter won't know that it is a PHP file and the browser won't render it correctly. Now this is one way to embed PHP within HTML. Let's take a look at what the file looks like. Alright, before we do that, we're going to visit the MEMP website. Now, there are several ways to set up a server to run PHP on your computer. In this course, we will use a package called MEMP. and MEM stands for Mac OS for the operating system, Apache, the web server, MySQL, which is a database management system, and PHP, Perl, or Python for the programming language. There are two choices. You're going to find two choices. Now, Windows users, don't worry. This is compatible with Windows as well. There are two choices, MEMP and MEMP Pro. You will pick the free download. Now click on the download button, and once you have installed MEMP, use Finder or Launchpad on a Mac, or use the search button on Windows Explorer or on a Windows machine to find it. Now we're going to open the application. We're going to use Launchpad. Double click on it. And this is what we're going to see. We're going to see the control panel of MEMP. We're going to click on Start Servers. And now, if we refresh this page, we can see our files. And let's take a look at what we just wrote. Side by side. And this is the PHP script. Now, before we continue, there's a couple of tools that you will find very useful inside this site. Now remember that you get here simply by starting the servers on the control panel. If it doesn't open automatically, you click on this and to open the web start page, and it brings you right over here. Now, we're going to go to PHP info, to this link. In this link, we're going to find a couple of very useful pieces of information. Number one is the server name, which in our case is localhost. You're going to find server port, which is 8888. Now remember that that is what took us to our file system. So by typing localhost 888, it brings us to this. This is where we are going to keep all our files, or PHP files, and I'll show you how to do that. The other thing that you need to find is the document root, which in my case, because I saved the MEMP application inside the applications folder, this becomes the document root. Now, this is very important. Within this folder, the htdocs folder, is that you must save all your PHP files in order for the server to find them. This is one of the most common mistakes beginner developers make when they're trying to set up. They save their PHP files in a different folder, and guess what? They don't work. And then you waste time trying to figure out what the problem is. Now you won't have that problem. Now on the URL field on your browser, if you type localhost in the name of any file, right? In this case, we have a folder, and now remember that this PHP folder is inside the htdocs folder. Now, if you write any name of a file that is inside the htdocs, it doesn't matter whether it's inside just that folder or inside a folder, you will be able to access your files. Now we're going to do one more thing in the PHP link info. We're going to find two variables right here: display errors and display startup errors. These are both set to on. Now, on most cases, the default value is off, so you will find this to be on the off. So in order to change them, we are going to access a document that is called the loaded configuration file, and this is the name of the document. So we're going to go to our code editor, brackets in my case, and we're going to look for the file. Now let's see, you have map right here, bin, let's take a look right here, bin PHP, the version which is 7.2.10, config, and this is the file that we were looking for. Now we open this file, and as you can see, these two variables are set to on in our case. If they were in the off position, which sometimes is the case, you will need to change them to on, save the file, and that's it. Once you're done, close the file, and I promise this is the hardest part of the course, going in and switching those values. What this does is, whenever there is an error in your PHP code, it will tell you that there will be a message on the browser telling you what kind of error you have. And this is very helpful, and it's recommended only in the development phase and not during production, in which it could be dangerous since sensitive data may be exposed and you don't want that. Now that we have our server up and running, let's go to our code editor and browser, and let's examine the code. As a first step, let's take a look at the code without any PHP. Like I mentioned before, this looks just like regular HTML, but if we're going to add PHP to it, then it must be saved with a PHP extension in order for the interpreter to recognize it. Now, if we add the PHP portion of our code, to include PHP in this file, we need to start with the opening PHP tag and end with the closing PHP tag. Everything in between those tags will be parsed by PHP. Everything outside the tags will be ignored by the interpreter. Now, if we go back to our browser and open the developer tools, which is Control-Alt-I in Chrome, or F12 in Internet Explorer or Edge, we see that comparing this to our file here, there's no PHP tags here, right? There's also no echo statements. And what this means is that all of this went to the server and it came back to the browser as plain HTML. So that this is how the Apache server will work, processing PHP statements and sending them back to the browser in plain HTML. In the next episode, we're going to talk about basic syntax of PHP. I hope you enjoyed this first part, and I'll see you then.